Hello everyone, my name is Void Doctor, and fun fact about me, I consider myself quite a bit of a redstone hobbyist, and today we're going to be putting that to the test by seeing if I can beat Mojang at redstone. Alright, so essentially what's happening in this video is when we were moving house, I stumbled upon these 2012 era Minecraft redstone handbooks, and well, I really remember liking the tutorials in them, so I thought I'd give it a look in today's video and just see if any of them are good tutorials. So we're going to build them out in a world and see if they're good. And if they are, I'm going to rebuild them, show you guys how to build them with some 2022 redstone knowledge. And before we get started, my goal with these videos, as always, is to make the best possible content for you to enjoy. So if you do end up enjoying this video and feel inclined to do so, subscribing is the best way to help the channel. Thanks. On with the video. Alright folks, so I got this nice house all built up here, and this actually fits our first tutorial very well, which is the toggleable lighting system. So I'm just going to implement this right now. Alright, so this is a really simple tutorial to set up, but you really have to be a fan of that redstone wire just hanging out of your walls to really fully appreciate this tutorial. Now, if you come inside, you flip a switch, and it turns the lights on. Super simple, but I really don't see a point in having a toggleable lighting system that just uses a lever inside your house, unless you're one of those people who wants to role play like real life and wants to, flip the light switch off and go to bed and like that kind of stuff. If you're one of those people, then yes, I could see that this has a purpose, but I'm talking about this from a practical standpoint, so really it doesn't really have a purpose. So I'm going to design my own, and I rate this tutorial a 3 out of 10. Now it's time to fix this build with some 2022 redstone knowledge. This is honestly one of the simplest and easiest fixes you could ever implement to a redstone tutorial. Really just added a moonlight detector connected to a redstone repeater and just add some redstone dust connecting it to the lamps and you're done. And so when it turns night, the lights automatically flip on, meaning you have light when you need it. Pretty simple, pretty effective. I rate my fix a 6 out of 10. Still not super practical because you could just have torches or always on redstone lamps, but it's still pretty cool. And yes, I do know I suck at Minecraft modern architecture. Alright, on to the next tutorial. I just read through the book a bit more and realized that on the next page, this fix was right there. Okay, so imagine with me just for a sec that it's 2012 Minecraft and you need some awesome, super secure way to hide your items from your friends on your Minecraft server. What's the best way to do it? It's a 2x2 piston door, of course. I don't really have a problem with this design. It's just, it's really, really, really large and bulky and not very compact. So let's fix it using redstone logic, because this redstone essentially existed in 2012, but I can see why they might have done this to teach you that you can deactivate redstone torches with a redstone signal. But still, this is so large and bulky. This is not the way to do it. This is how you do it. You just push a button and the door opens, maybe on you, and it's so simple. It's a redstone torch with a button on the other side of the block, 2 pistons and 2 blocks. So simple. I rate the first tutorial, the Mojang design, maybe a 4 out of 10. It was still pretty okay, but it wasn't that good. My fix, or just the most commonly used fix, 8 out of 10, works every time, works like a charm, very easy, very simple, very good. Alright, so you've just finished this epic fortress with your friends and you're looking for a way to defend it that's not just you standing outside with a sword. That is where the redstone torch 3 clock comes in handy. So this build is so simple, it's essentially just a clock, but way more complicated than it really needs to be. But what I assume was Mojang's rationale for including this is that it does teach you very well that you can deactivate redstone torches by just powering the block that they're on, which is super smart. Full credit to Mojang. They did a really good job on this one, and it does work. Well, it would if I wasn't such an idiot. Again, I'm a total moron. I did not make this castle suit this redstone build at all, so now I just have to completely terraform the entire landscape to make it fit in. Alright, so this is actually pretty cool. For a 2012 build, pre-observer, this was actually pretty good. But it doesn't really hold up in 2022 when we have observer clocks and things. But for the tutorial, teaching new Minecraft players how redstone works, this was really smart because it teaches them, again, that you can deactivate redstone torches using a redstone signal going into the block it's on, which is really smart on Mojang's part. So full credit to them, but the actual build in 2022 is at best a 3 out of 10, more like a 2 out of 10 though, just because it's so slow and inefficient. You could fix this so easily, like so. All right, so this one's a lot simpler, and you can actually decorate the door, and it fits in the room nicely. So this one also teaches the reader, it teaches them that two observers facing each other creates a clock, and the observers can be pushed and pulled by pistons. And as a nice side benefit, it is also quite fast. It's considerably faster than the other one, so your enemies will be pelted with many arrows per second. So I'm going to give this fix a 7 out of 10. It's not very creative and it's quite dull, but it does improve on the last build. So still a pretty decent fix for a fairly boring original build. So yeah, time to move on to the next tutorial. You ever been in a situation where you feel the need to get instant revenge on someone? Here's your solution. The lava pit trap is your best friend. It'll cause your friend to fall to their death. Let's get working on this. Why is it always so fun to dig out massive holes? Again, this one just peak 2012 Minecraft using trapped chests as the activator, but it does work quite well. And it is hidden and it's fairly cheap. So for the early game, it's quite nice. You just fall to your death. That was way less epic than I want it to be. Give me a sec. Ah! All right, so as you can see there, it is a pretty effective trap. If the person you're trying to trap has never, ever seen a trap chest before, because as soon as you see this little red marking here, you know you're done. Like, you know it's a trap, so, you know, you best not get near that chest, right? So it's not a very effective, like, trap trigger. It's more of just kind of a fun build, I guess. I want to make a very effective trap to actually kill someone, so I think we're gonna need a better activation device. Let's get working on this. Okay, so this one's a bit more involved. What you're gonna need to start out with is, for me, I'm doing a 3x5 hole. 3x5 by 40 blocks tall, so it is a very large hole. And then you want to place a sculk sensor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks down, and then you want to have a sculk sensor below the 7th block, and then build up scaffolding up to floor height, so 1 block above where I did, and then build with scaffolding to cover the entire floor, and then cover that with concrete. Maybe vary the colors of concrete powder to make it seem a bit more intentional and therefore a bit more sneaky. Also maybe put some concrete powder in the walls again to make it seem like it's actually part of the build. And then go back down underneath, place a piston facing the scaffolding, and observers going down towards the piston, linking the two. Alright, so in the end, you should get something that looks a little something like this. What was that? What was that noise? Ah! And then presumably you'd fall to your death. Not a fun time. And if you'd like to know the redstone theory behind this, it's essentially that the sculk sensor hears you walking or opening the barrel, sends a redstone or a block update signal through this chain of observers down to this piston, breaking the scaffolding, causing all the concrete powder to fall as it is gravity affected, causing you to fall with it. And that just about does it for the lava pit trap. The second one wasn't really a lava pit trap, but it was still a pit trap, and I rate the original Mojang tutorial probably a 5 or 6 out of 10, but I think that second design, just using the scaffolding so discreet, probably a 9.5 out of 10 using those new sculk sensors. None of that was really my design, it was all just using game mechanics, like widely known game mechanics, but again, I thought that was a pretty cool fix. Do you ever feel the need to blow stuff up with TNT, but from a comically safe distance away? That is where the dual shot TNT cannon comes in. Let's get building this. I just realized there's an enormous ladder in my background. I was putting up lights, alright? Give me a break. I don't know if this is just me, but just using one row of dispensers seems pitiful nowadays. This just feels like peak 2012 redstone. It's not excessive in any way, it's just perfectly adequate for what it is. Also, keep in mind this redstone is slightly modified to work with 1.19. But hey, just because it's perfectly adequate only for what it was designed to do, doesn't mean that it also can't be epic. The dual shot in the name comes from the fact that the firing dispenser gets 2 signals instead of 1, meaning it launches 2 pieces of TNT. So yes, this may be cool and all, but I think I have something way cooler in mind. A redstone TNT railgun. I'm gonna get working on this right now. You can tell this build is a lot more serious than the last because I'm using obsidian. Let's just test if this is enough. This probably will not be for what I want this thing to do, but let's just test. Yeah, no. For those unaware, you can actually tower up with glass instead of slabs like this, meaning you can get vertical redstone with a lot less work. Let's test this after a bit more work. Still not good enough, but a lot better. So because I'm the most excessive person ever, I want to go even further with this, so I've had to do some very interesting engineering here. This could be the most American video on this channel to date. Just appreciate the beauty. What in the world? What in the world? This is so excessive. But we need to go further. All right, last few pieces of redstone dust go right there, and that is the railgun complete. Let's test this out, shall we? Let's just see this thing in action. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is insane. That is absolutely mad. That is a madness. This thing looks like a rib cage. This is my rib cage. Here's just a little self-portrait for y'all just to show you that I actually have a rib cage that looks like that. I don't think this is the most American video on this channel. This is the most American Minecraft YouTube video on the planet. This is probably the greatest glow up from one of the tutorials in this build to my rendition of it with 2022 redstone knowledge. This is just excessive. I mean, we went from this to this. Absolutely madness. Now, to be fair, this monster definitely costs about 10 times as many resources as this little guy over here, but I think that's worth it. And technically, I guess it also packs less firepower, but that will be rectified in an upcoming video. I have some plans. Now, I still think this is one of my greatest destructive achievements, although it does tend to have a mind of its own. See, that one didn't go as high as the other ones usually do. So there's still some kinks to be worked out, but for the most part, I think this is definitely a success. 11 out of 10 in terms of firepower. Practicality, 2 out of 10. This is not a practical one, but I never said that the fixes would be practical. I only was rating the original builds on practicality, so technically I can get away with building something like this. So, yeah, feel free to obliterate your enemies with something like this. Just please don't blow my base up. So yeah, I think what we learned in this video is that Mojang's tutorials from 2012 are definitely not as cool as modern day builds, but they're definitely, they definitely teach you things that a lot of builds like this just will not teach you. Like, this does not teach you the fundamentals of how TNT cannons work. I learned how to build TNT cannons from this. I bought this book and I built a TNT cannon, and that's how I learned how TNT cannons work. I didn't build this straight out of the box. But anyways, on from boring life lessons and things, I think we're gonna wrap up today's video. So as always, my name has been Void Doctor. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to hit like and subscribe. And at right is my most recent YouTube video, and at left is a video that YouTube recommends. So why don't you go give them a little look. Anyways, I'm Void Doctor, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.